murder, random killing, gang warfare, kidnapping, including the kidnapping of children, rape, robbery. All of these things are becoming commonplace that we didn't have when we were children growing up. Now that we have understood the world from the Quran, we know it's going to get worse tomorrow. We have a duty to protect ourselves and our families. Well, how do the rich solve the problem? The rich solve the problem by moving to gated communities, gated enclaves, walls around and gates, where only the rich can live. They employ heavily armed security guards with guard dogs and sirens and security alarms and this and that and the other. And so the rich ensure their own security, but in the process they literally throw the poor to the dogs. That's happening all over the world today. Such a solution, we argue, it demeans and it antagonizes the poor, and it earns their hatred. Can we build a village where the rich and the poor will live side by side? Can we build a village which would take charge of its own security without having to employ security guards? A village where the rich and the poor would both engage simultaneously in establishing community-organized collective security for the village. So you're not going to sleep on your bed every night. No matter who you are, rich or poor, a few nights of the week you're going to be out there patrolling. It doesn't matter who you are, rich or poor. We believe that Islam can bring the rich and the poor together to live in such a fraternity. We believe that Islam can put a rich man to function alongside a poor man in watchmanning and patrolling. If our experiment succeeds, then inshallah residents can sleep with their windows open. There would be no need for iron bars and burglar proofing when you build your houses, so your houses won't look like prisons. If this experiment succeeds, then women can walk around any time of the night and day, walk around the village in perfect safety. Isn't that a benefit? Would the country not benefit from seeing this experiment succeeding? But more than that, the PNM brought black nationalism to this country, 1956. I was 14 years of age in 56 when the election took place. That black nationalism has damaged the body politic of the country and has produced racial polarization. Unless we find a way out of the racial dilemma, this country will eventually capsize. In fact, we may not have much time left before we reach that abyss. Small minds with limited vision cannot see the poverty of thought, the futility of effort, and the betrayal of Islam, which is involved in a UNC-sponsored Hindu-Muslim, that is Indian-Muslim unity, that would preserve a racial solidarity with which to confront the PNM's black nationalism. Let me repeat that. Small minds with limited vision cannot see the poverty of thought, futility of effort, and betrayal of Islam involved in a UNC-sponsored Hindu-Muslim unity, meaning Indian Muslims, that would preserve a racial solidarity with which to confront the PNM's black nationalism. It ain't gonna work. We do not want to betray Islam. Rather, the Muslim village would transcend the politics of race to establish, or rather to make the effort, biiznillah, to seek to establish and to sustain the healing balm of a racial fraternity. Islam, and I believe only Islam, can bind the races together by binding their hearts together in a brotherhood. And so, when the Muslim village establishes and sustains a racial fraternity of all the races living together as a family the way we used to live before in this country, the Muslim village would have succeeded in doing what the PNM can't do and the UNC can't do and the other religious bodies cannot do. Is that not beneficial? We're not the first. Imam Nazim Muhammad has already succeeded in doing that in both settlement Jamaat and Rio Claro. Please go and visit him and see what he's done. We live in a country in which, despite abundant wealth, oil, gas, we are the major supplier of natural gas now to the United States. Despite abundant wealth, despite a very fertile soil, despite a very well-educated population, the number of people who live below the poverty line is about 30%. And those who are living in poverty can look forward to permanent poverty, forever and ever and ever. When the rich are permanently rich, and the poor are imprisoned in permanent poverty, then that is oppression. Around the world today, that oppression has descended upon mankind. Banking, insurance, and a monetary system based on paper, plastic, and electronic money have combined to destroy the free and the fair market. The problem is compounded by a value system which glorifies the rich. If you're rich, you're somebody. And if you're poor, you're nobody. All over the world today, poverty is not only considered to be something increasingly disgraceful and demeaning, but also something to be feared, something to be abolished. The President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago lectured recently, we want to abolish poverty. I laughed when I read it. The rich nations of the world have reasons to fear the poor, since they themselves have played a dirty role in bringing about mass poverty. When the masses plant, they do not reap the fruit of their labor. Others do so. And so eventually, the poor become criminals. The Muslim village would strive, as I said earlier, to restore the free and the fair market by eliminating riba.